Hello everyone, and welcome back to Anime-chan, where today I'm going to be sharing my reaction highlights of episode 89, 90 and 91 of One Piece. And at the end of the video I will be reading to you my notes for anyone who's interested in listening to my thoughts and review of these 3 episodes. But if you prefer to read through my notes, if for example you're not a first language English speaker and it'll be easier to read maybe, then the link should be in my description. If I forgot to post that, just let me know in the comment section. I will post it as soon as I can. So I was away to Cape Town for 5 days, got back yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. I immediately started editing these 3 videos, doing my notes, watched an episode of Dr. Stone. Today I started Steins Gate. I'll be watching the next 2 episodes of One Piece on Tuesday. It's currently Monday morning, 20 minutes past 2 a.m. So tomorrow night, Tuesday night, around 7, 8ish, I'll watch One Piece, the next 2 episodes, and post the full reactions for patrons. But remember, I need to edit the highlights, do the notes, record the review, put in the review in the video, and then upload it. So usually you guys get it on YouTube a little bit late. With all of that out of the way, just thank you so much for being here. I'm happy to be back, super happy. I had a nice time in Cape Town, but I just love what I do so much. Not being able to do it for a whole 5 days was sad. But I'm back, so thank you for having me and enjoy the video. I have orange juice. Ah! Nakama datte. He's both terrifying and hilarious at the same time. Already getting this complicated and interconnected, and I even thought for a second, I didn't mention this in my notes, but I should have. I thought for a second that Kureha, I wondered if she was the girl that those giants, because I remembered saying that girl is probably dead, because remember that girl that asked the question that led to their 100-year feud? But then I realized if Dr. Kureha is 130, then no, then she wasn't that girl. But I thought it for a second. Just like my mind was like, oh, Gold Roger is Luffy's dad. But that's impossible because the times don't match up. But they have to be related because she said Gold D. And what is Monkey? Monkey D. And that ace guy, I'm not trusting him either. I mean, not trusting like he's a villain. I'm not thinking that. But he looks very similar to Luffy's whole skinniness, dark hair. Like, think about it. How different do these characters look? Sanji is a blonde French guy. Nami is a Swedish orange-haired girl. Zoro has green hair. He's clearly Japanese. Usopp is apparently, I think, South African or something. Recently found out from the SBS that Vivi is Egyptian, or at least her surname is from Egyptian heritage. And from her dad, I could see definite Egyptian inspiration. So now you're telling me this character that looks similar to Luffy shows up and he's not related to Luffy? I'm not, no. These characters are all too different for something that, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. But still, who's Gold Roger? Gold D. Roger then? Gold D. Roger. Monkey D. Luffy. Maybe I'm They would have the same surname, wouldn't they? Do they just choose their own surname? Am I trying too hard here? Are you guys laughing at me making stupid theories right now? You're laughing like ah ha 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 bah ha ha, and you're like, this idiot. She thinks she's so smart. Ha ha. Yeah, because maybe the D thing is just like coincidental because they don't have the same surname. Don't forget, this is the same person that for a second wondered if Smoker could be Zoro's dad. Same person. Same person. Maybe I'm trying too hard here. But no! No! Look at this. Look at this hair. It's this exact same little pointy nose, dark fringe hanging in his eyes and face, pointy out ears. Same. Oh, there's dinner. Wari! Oh, thanks for the recap. Shichibukai. That's crocodile? Wait. They go around defeating other pirates. Therefore, the rulers of countries give them free reign. Free reign? Oh, you mean they can... Okay, in exchange for their pirate-crushing skills. Oh! How are you gonna tell them? Double finger? Oh, he doesn't have a pair? Why? What about 4? Miss Merry Christmas. So they all have devil fruit abilities, but not her. She didn't have. She was said to have hypnotizing powers, and he doesn't have a partner. Why? Oh, I know why. I saw he did this weird ballet thing, so he's his own partner. He's half man, half woman, maybe? 2000. You said the same thing. But if he falls apart, then everything falls apart. Luffy. Yep, he's his own partner. It's Zoro's brother. Clearly, since they have the exact same hair color, this is Zoro's brother. I'm just mocking myself and my amazing deductive skills. What the heck? He's got short hair at the back.
王国で海賊が暴れている。
行動中の国は海賊のいいカモなんじゃないの。行くの。
大岡七部会は海賊を潰す海賊。民衆のヒーローだぜ。
Have I told you guys what I know about Robin? Well, I know her name's Robin, obviously. I think I mentioned that I know something about her. I remember mentioning it before and saying, like, when we get there, I'll tell you that I've seen this. But I might as well tell you now. Maybe it's better if you knew beforehand that I knew. So I remember saying that I saw a scene before I started watching One Piece. Obviously, I had seen, like, a clip here and there, an image, a poster with people's faces on it, because that's how I saw Chopper before, although I thought he was a bear. I thought he was a bear. I thought it was a bear, but he's a reindeer. Good. Awesome. See, that's what I mean. Like, you can be spoiled on some things and still be surprised in another way, you know? So it's fine. So what I know about her, or a clip that I've seen, or a screenshot, I don't remember. She was crying and she was saying something like she doesn't want to live, or I don't know. It was a very, like, she had a very sorrowful face, tears and things. I don't think I saw a video, because I would have remembered her voice, and I don't remember her voice. Maybe it was like a GIF or something, I don't know. But, so that's what I know about Robin. I know that most probably she ends up joining the crew after that, but I'm not sure if it's like a permanent position like Chopper, or if it's something like Vivi just for a little while. I don't know. But yes, I know, I've seen Robin. I know her name is Robin. I know that she says at one point she wants to die, or she doesn't want to live, I'm not sure. And then I think maybe she does join the crew, but I still don't know if it's a permanent or temporary position like Chopper or Vivi. So that's as much as I know about her. But it doesn't matter that I know those things, because it doesn't change. I guess it changes my expectations a little. Like, I know that she ends up probably not being such a bad person if she ends up joining the crew after all. But considering she wanted to die, maybe she's done some bad things which she feels she couldn't be forgiven for. And that's about as much as I can put together by the information that I have. But what I'm trying to say is it doesn't ruin my experience of watching so much, because there's still so much I don't know, you know. So this is a very, very fun episode. These episodes are some of my favorites, transitioning from another arc to a new arc. I really like these episodes. They're really fun. Okay, episode 89. When the kingdom's rule is over, the flag of conviction lasts forever. Obviously, the first thing that I had to post was Slim Wapol. I apologize to anyone who did not turn down their volume and whose ears were bleeding after that scream. I don't know why I freaked out so much. I just wasn't expecting it at all, and this is just hilarious. Hashtag never forget Skinny Wapol. Actually, this should be Slim Wapol. Okay, I'm wondering if the hippo is like Drum Island's national animal or something, because he says hippo all the time. It's kind of like a pun, hippo or idiot or buckable, I don't know. And even that one cannon, the cannon thing, was shaped like a hippo, and he rides a hippo, and he sort of resembled one when he wasn't skinny. That makes me really curious about the other countries in the Grand Line too. And even the countries out of the Grand Line, like all the like East Blue, West Blue, The One Piece world has sucked me in so much that I'm even curious about things like that. Different countries, national animals, what kind of people live there, their flags, all that kind of stuff. I've been so sucked into this world because Oda has created it so brilliantly and paints these beautiful pictures, and it's so in depth. So I want to know more all the time. Wapol also mentioned that the Drum Kingdom was part of the world government. So it makes me so interested about the world in this world and its systems. in the world of One Piece. I'm sure that somehow it's a commentary or reflection of our own world. Maybe in some way, Oda intentionally wanted to impart some of his own views in the story for us to see from his perspective. It's made me think a lot, so whether he intended it to or not, I think it's really great. So what I mean with that is, maybe he's using this fantastical world to, through such creative ways, teaching us about real life events and issues and the people and everything, you know? Maybe he's using it in some way. I can't think how that is not true, because it's so brilliantly crafted and so deep and meaningful. Giving Luffy a badass point for when he grabs Wapol in the face and says, "It's over." And then he says, "Whether you are a king or whether you are a god, who's great and who isn't great, it doesn't matter because I'm a pirate." And another point for the way he said this. So now I think Luffy has 12 badass points. Once again, please don't complain about who gets badass points and when they get badass points. I have talked about what badass means to me and I don't have to mention it every time. I need to actually write down when I said what, so that I can just, if someone asks and says the same thing and complains about it, I can just reference that. I do have, remember, this One Piece lists document. So in this, I make lists of things. My favorite Straw Hats list. I haven't added Chopper yet. Vivi doesn't count because, as far as I'm aware, she's only like a temporary Straw Hat. I don't know, should I include her in the Straw Hats list, since she even got her own little musical note thing in between card things? Should I include her in the Straw Hats list maybe, or should I keep her as supporting in the supporting characters list? Got my up-to-date best to worst villains list, which I need to separate into characters that I like, best to worst, or characters that I like versus actual good, interesting, whatever villains. I don't know, I still don't know about that. Devil Fruit users. A list of Devil Fruit users, just so I don't forget, but I don't know, sometimes I don't know, hope nothing slips through my radar there. I have a badass points list, my best moments list, which currently includes Zoro versus Mihawk, Sanji's past, Usopp fighting Chu, Luffy destroying the map room and Arlong Park, Luffy climbing the Drum Island mountain to get to Dr. Kureha, Chopper's past, and shut up, let's go from these episodes. If I made this best moments list after watching like 60 or something episodes. I made it much later, so if you think I skipped anything specific, ask me about it, like what about this, what about this. Yeah, I think this is what stood out to me the most. If I don't remember it, maybe it shouldn't be on the list, but yeah, those are my favorite moments. A list of memorable quotes, a list of my favorite moves from each character, although I haven't updated that in a while with a new move or something, but yeah, so that's my One Piece lists document. It should be included, I linked it somewhere here, but now I don't exactly remember where. I'll try and remember to put this in the description as well so you can find it more easily. Okay, where am I? So this part is going to be a little bit controversial, but it definitely heavily links to the message of this arc, in my opinion. Just be aware that this is my opinion and my thoughts on the situation, and I'm trying to give you as much information as I can, but it will be controversial, so just take it with a grain of salt, I guess. I mean, just let's have an open conversation. This is a quote from Dalton. "What's wrong with wishing for a country with a heart?" I have already in a previous review talked about how the Doctor Hunt made me feel and think about a similar situation in South Africa, namely the farm murders that we are now infamous for recently. If you click this word, it has linked you to a video about the farm murders. I don't want to delve too much deeper into it right now, and yet I end up doing that anyway. although I have to admit, I think it's really important to actually talk about it and make people aware of situations like this happening in the world. Since there are similar things happening, like what Walpole did in quite a few countries. Like what Walpole did is happening like around the world, you know, right now. There are definitely more in-depth videos on YouTube, and I feel the best I can do for now is to share this playlist with you again. So there's a playlist about the farm murders in South Africa, even though that's not the only situation in the world where similar things are happening. It's the only situation I'm aware of because I am South African, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. I can give you more information about the situation in South Africa. If we look at what happened on Drum Island and we see how these things or similar things happen in our own world, instead of feeling hopeless or angry, I really just want to make you aware so that you and all of us can prevent this from happening more and more. Maybe if we realize what these dictators, these Walpoles in the world, maybe if we can realize what they look like, if we can think about it and acknowledge these traits in others and even in ourselves, maybe we can stop, you know, these kinds of things from happening before because it grows and grows. It's like a snowball effect. You know, someone doesn't just wake up like, okay, maybe what Paul did. He was born a king of that place. But I mean, he didn't just become a fucking what he was. Like there had to be things that led up to it. He amassed power and people just kind of let things slide. And eventually, damn Dr. Hunt. And then he already had this fleet and I don't know, like, didn't his father realize? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so we can hopefully, just by acknowledging these things and talking about it, the different situations in the world and what led to it, maybe we can prevent it from repeating in the past. It's very important to not hold on to the past and hold on to grudges and all these kinds of things. Like even the Holocaust, like there's no point in being mad at those I don't know, those people. There's no point of being mad at each other now. You can't hold on to the past, but you remember it so that you can learn from it, you know? Just trying to use another reference. There's not much one person can do, but if we can all at least know what is right and apply it in our daily lives, I think it will have a snowball effect and influence the whole world little by little. Because if you change, you influence your family differently. And if your family dynamic is changed for the better, a bunch of families influences a community. So that makes a little better community. Different communities make up a country. Different countries make up the world. So it all starts with you. Really, it does. However little you think you can influence, it's all you can do, really. It's just better yourself. Okay, so I know I just wrote that I didn't want to discuss this too much in depth than I already have in a previous review, but there is one thing I do feel I need to address. Every time I mention the farm murders in South Africa, there are always a few people commenting things like, "You white people deserve what you are getting," referring to farmers being tortured and slaughtered, their wives and children being raped, and their babies being boiled in bathtubs. The reason they say this is because even though the land has been sold and bought for many, many years legally, and like everyone that owns land now have bought it legally. Long ago, while Africa was still made up of a lot of tribes, there was no law back then, and these tribes gained land through killing each other out. Like there were two tribes, this tribe wanted more land, so they fought, and this tribe was more powerful. They won, they took the land, they killed the men, took the wives, the children and the women as slaves. And that is how it worked back then. So now a lot of people in South Africa are saying that because their family owned it back then, or not their family, but their people, their race owned it back then, through those means, now whoever owns it now shouldn't own it because they should be killed because that's how they did it back then. I don't know. Crazy how people think. So people always want to argue that the farm murders are justified because the land was stolen. Whether it was stolen or not, you know, murdering is too easy of a word to use. These are people being tortured to death, babies being boiled, women being raped, children being raped. Like, there is nothing that justifies this. Now, I don't know everything about how South Africa was established, and I don't know what my great-great-grandparents had to do with apartheid being established. I know that the country has a bad history and we're infamous for segregation, but since its abolishment in 1993-ish, early 1990s, BEE, Black Economic Empowerment, which is a racially selective program to help and empower previously disadvantaged races, which focuses on the Black communities because they are the majority. It has been implemented to to fix the inequalities of apartheid. So that has been going on since 1990 something, early 90s. So it's not like, even though we have that history, you know, wait, I'll get to it. So I may not know everything, but I 100% know that slaughtering men, women, and children and boiling babies in the bath is not how you are going to fix it. Yes, there were bad white people in power that did very bad things. Are all of us bad? No. Should we rather choose to work together to fix our country side by side instead of repeating the same horrific mistakes of the past? Yes. Just look at the Straw Hats. Zoro is Japanese, Luffy is Brazilian, Sanji is French, Nami is Swedish, Usopp is African, and just like Luffy said at Arlong Park, it's only through working together that they can make their dreams come true. A leader, a swordsman, a cook, a navigator, and the comedic relief. I'm joking, Usopp is more than that. You need them all. We are stronger together. Different cultures, communities, races, religions. We're stronger together than we are apart. That is why there is in our world currently international trade and all these kinds of things, because you can make things that I can't. We can, you know, knowledge and stuff, we share that to empower ourselves because we're different, and that is where our strength comes from. And that is why I always get heated when someone comments, white people deserve what they are getting, when referring to farm murders. Really? Did you realize what you're saying? And although I know it's petty, I always find myself pointing out these things. So these are just things to consider, and you'll see where it leads. It once again links back to One Piece. The South African tribes that owned the land hundreds of years ago were brutal. Take Shaka Zulu, for example. Here are some facts about him that not many people from out of South Africa know. So Shaka Zulu was like the biggest war leader, biggest tribe, strongest leader, most well-known leader. So he killed more Zulus than any of his enemies did. So more of his own people, more of his own race, culture, whatever. He killed more of them than anyone else in history ever has. His capital was called Bulawayo, the place where they are killed. So if you want to read more, you can just pause the video here, if you can see this, or you can go read the document. Otherwise, this video is going to get really long. He stole his crown. Although Zulus and other people revere Shaka so much, the truth is that he usurped the crown. He killed his half-brother and installed himself as king. He allowed white settlers into his kingdom. Shaka was a ruthless ruler and was resented by many of his people. No one dared to speak openly though, because any opposition to him was sentenced to death. Does that sound like what Paul? Yes, it does. One day Shaka survived an assassination attempt. In order to receive the best treatment, he called for and allowed whites to come into his kingdom in order to give him the treatment. As a sign of gratitude, he allowed them to come and settle in Port Natal, known now as Durban, which is 2 hours from here. So it was given to them. You know, lots of these kinds of things happened. I'm just trying to point out more information. Like it's more than just what people overseas think. Shaka Zulu killed many Zulus to mourn his mother's death. So another instance of when he just killed people because he felt like it. When his mother died, he declared a mourning period for more than a year. During this time, crops were not planted, and any woman who became pregnant was killed together with her husband, because how dare you have sex when my mother died 9 months ago. All the cows that gave birth were killed so that their calves could know how it felt, what it felt like to lose a mother. So I'm just saying these kinds of things happened too. So why am I saying this? Just because people overseas, like telling me I deserve to be gang raped because I'm white and I'm mentioning these things, or or even comparing what's happening, the farm murders, like, how dare I be unhappy about the farm murders? I'm not the victim here, I should be gang raped. Like, what the fuck? What do I want you to take away from this? Yes, white farmers are being murdered, but it's not just the white farmers. It's also the people that work on the farms, regardless of their race. That white, black, colored, Indian, everyone. Thousands of people working on farms, whether they're blue, white or orange, are being supported by the income of the farm, and they're happy because they have jobs and they can provide for their family. Any farm worker who is not plotting to kill the owner of the farm, if the owner of the farm happens to be white, is seen as a traitor and also killed mercilessly. This is clearly wrong, don't you think? That is what the scene makes me think of. So here is a scene of Wapol and his military men crashing into a family's home, grabbing the doctor. The children are cowering here in the corner, children and the wife. So obviously this scene, seeing this happen in the episode, made me, it keeps reminding me of this whole situation, you know? Also, just another thing that I wanted to mention, Indian and Chinese people suffered just as much during apartheid, and they basically own South Africa right now. I'm kind of kidding, I don't know the facts, but just Google the Guptas and, you know, their history and recent history in South Africa, and Google how much South Africa owes China, and you'll get an idea of what I mean. If you look at the demographics, white people make up a very small percent of South Africa's population. So black is red, white is yellow, colored is green, Indian/Asian is blue, where they must be the smallest percentage, and they are literally the richest, some of the richest in terms of ownership. And then there's a purple color which is non-dominant. I don't know what that means. This was, I think, from 2012, so it was a few years ago, but I doubt that it's changed much. I couldn't find a more recent demographic this thingy. Under average circumstances, every racial group will have people that are poor, people that are average in terms of income, and people that are rich. So every single community, every single race, there will always be classes. Like it's like a natural thing that happens. Like there's different percentiles where you fit into, unless you're in a community where money is distributed equally regardless of what you do. So if you're a doctor, if you're a dancer, I guess, whatever, you're always paid equal. I don't know if such a place exists in the world, but unless you live in a country like that, there will always be rich, average, and poor. Of course, you want to at least, every country wants to at least, even people that fall in the poor ratio should have access to basic like things like food and shelter and but I'm just saying, like, there will still always be that class thing. Doesn't it make sense that the more people there are in a racial group, the more people will fall into the poor percentage? So obviously, like, compared to the amount of Indian and Asian people, like, they're 5% of the country's population. I don't know, there's no exact number. So obviously the amount of people that fall into the poor ratio compared to the amount of colored people, for example, I don't know, overseas you guys, I guess, say mixed race. So since there are so much more, like, let's say there's a 40% people in South Africa are mixed race, then obviously their poor percentile would be, the number of people in their poor percentile would be a lot more than the number of people in the Indian/Asian poor percentile, because there's more people there compared to there. You know what I'm trying to say? I do understand that rich white people have had a longer time to accumulate their wealth because of the apartheid era. Not that there are no black billionaires in South Africa, but for more than 25 years, BEE has been in place to fix that. Like, we're at least trying, and we're doing a great job, because if you look at the numbers, there are more black people in the average percentile and rich percentile. I'm not sure about rich percentile, but I know about the average percentile. Like, there are, because there are more people. There are more people than the other racial groups, and BE is applied heavily, and there are a lot of people to accommodate. So much so that it's very difficult for a white person to get a job since other races takes priority. Not that I'm complaining, I'm just stating the facts. I can't complain since I don't get paid by South Africans. I make sure that I have a job where I earn money through Google AdSense and from my amazing patrons all over the world. Without you, I literally don't know where I would be. I know it might be coming across like I'm pointing the finger and shifting the blame, but that is not my intention. I just want to level the playing field of blame here, because no one is without guilt in some way, shape, or form. So what I'm trying to do is, I already said it. There is no race that is entirely good, and there is no race that is entirely bad. It is never okay to murder someone based on their skin color. And if you are the kind of person that says, you white people deserve what you're getting, then, well, you're probably not listening to this anyway. But I'm sorry, I had to take a moment to address these kinds of comments. I had to take a moment to level the playing field of blame, because it's like people like that are making, you know, they're victimizing this whole group of people, and they're pushing all the blame onto another racial group. And I guess I'm defending it in like I said, leveling the blame playing field, the playing field of blame, because, you know, at some point there's this whole white guilt thing that takes over your mind, because people keep telling you your race is so awful, you deserve to be gang raped because you're white and your ancestor did this and this and this. And I guess I'm just trying to defend myself from thinking that way, because there's, like I said, there's no race that is entirely good or entirely evil, because races are made up of individual people, and no person's goodness or badness is determined by their race. I think I talk about this more. I just want to repeat the moral of my story more clearly. There are bad people and there are good people in any race, religion, or gender. Your race, religion, or gender does not equal how good or bad you are. That depends on your beliefs and actions. I just said that twice. Sorry. Most importantly, however, the moral of my story is we fix the world by working together. The end. I think this might be what Hiluluk referred to when he said that the king and the people of Drum Island were sick, while Paul only thought about power and the people had grown to hate Wapol and his government. A country where the people are at odds to such an extreme cannot flourish. The people and the government is at such odds. That country cannot flourish and will only continue to be sick and get sicker and sicker, because resentment builds, hate builds, all like these negativity, this animosity, it all builds up and it results in sickness. Hiluluk was hoping that upon witnessing the cherry blossoms, a miracle, like this beautiful sight, they would forget about the hate in their hearts, or it would somehow dissolve or become irrelevant after seeing such a breathtaking sight, and unite once again. Hopefully the people will, the hate will be resolved and they will unite to be a healthy country. That was his crazy dream, as Dr. Kureha stated. P.S. There was one thing that I wanted to add here. I have mentioned this before, but I think it's important to mention again. In our everyday life, my everyday life as a South African, personally, I am from a small town though, so take that into account when I say this. Racism is not an issue in South Africa. No more, from my perspective, than most places in the world. Like everywhere has issues with racism, sexism. Like obviously some places more than others. Like there's some, like in the Western world, inequality between sexes isn't that big of a thing anymore. Like there is like some issues, but it's not like in some places where women are still stoned to death, you know, like it's not that bad in our everyday life. Like for me, the little town I'm from, my dad works with people of all races, and he has for many years, and they're all good friends. They respect each other. We live next door to a black family, and we get along well. Greet each other. Can I borrow a cup of sugar? That whole thing. the high school down the street is multilingual and multiracial, and I've never heard about any incidents there other than normal school issues. Like any public school has issues with like teen pregnancy and, you know, boys fighting with each other. You know, it's normal stuff. There's never been like this big racial thing in the news. It's been the political parties who have, for many years by now, after Madiba, most of you will know him, after his death, the people who came into power after that, the ANC, Julius Malema, his party, I forget the party's name. It's been them for years who have been, and it could be other parties too, but these are the first two that comes to mind because of things that I've seen in the news, like them singing songs like these big, not protests, like parties and singing like kill the white farmer, like there's songs like that, and it's on the news, and like they are instigating this racial war. And it's been them for many years. Some uneducated communities get caught up in it, and that's how really awful, unqualified people stay in power for such a long time, like Jacob Zuma, and keep getting votes because they redirect the masses' attention from all the corruption and regress of the country that is their fault for doing corruption, not being qualified. Like Jacob Zuma can't even count. He can't even say 136,255. He can't read that from a card. Like, how is this man qualified to lead a country? So it's them that are talking about these racial wars and instigating animosity between us, because that keeps people attention there and not like, oh, they're fucking up, they're stealing your money, you know. This kind of makes me think of what Crocodile seems to be doing, instigating a civil war so that he can gain power among the chaos. And that made me think of a quote from back when Game of Thrones was still good. Chaos isn't a pit, chaos is a ladder. You can use it to climb to the top, because all the people are so, you know, focused on that shit, all the chaos, that you can just kind of sneak up into position of power. And just the thing about Crocodile, like I think Vivi said, Crocodile, he is known to the people as a hero, and yet he's doing all of this to eventually take the throne. He's instigating the civil war behind the scenes, and to me that is what a lot of politicians are doing, because they're instigating this racial war, and they're telling them like, we'll give you what you want because they took what you want and we can give it back to you, and they give them a few free t-shirts, and yet in the 10 years that man was in power, he didn't do jack shit for those people. That he just hands out t-shirts to them and tells them, I will take care of you, it's their fault that you are poor. And all he ended up doing was building a fucking mansion, a village of mansions for his family. And it's okay, so this visual is absolutely awesome. One of my favorite scenes from this episode, or these 3 episodes that I watched together, to be honest, was when the townspeople saw Chopper and panicked, and Usopp shouted, "A monster!" and made Chopper run away, not ran away. Luffy knocked Usopp on the head and said, "Don't call him a monster, he's the new Nakama I found." And then he shouted, "Wait, monster!" I think it's such a perfect little Luffy scene and portrays him so beautifully. Like, he's like, "Don't call him a monster! Wait, monster!" It was really cute. Episode 90, Hiluluk's Cherry Blossoms, Miracle of the Drum Rockies. I'm sorry if I'm reading a bit fast, but I know this is going to be like a freaking long video, so. Absolutely loving how adamant Luffy is about Chopper joining the crew. I feel like he somehow knew Chopper really wanted to join, since he also asked Dr. Kureha, but didn't keep asking her after she said no. It's different with Chopper though, I think, because Luffy is often really intuitive, and I believe he knew that Chopper wasn't saying no because he wanted to stay. I guess part of what I love about this is not just that Luffy is adamant about it, but how he's adamant about it. He's just really funny, and his dynamic with Chopper at this point was very entertaining. This is a really cute face, an expression when Chopper was explaining why he can't go. And now I just really need to take a sip of water. The moment when Luffy shouts, "Shut up, let's go," it gives me goosebumps and it makes me feel so happy. It's definitely one of my favorite One Piece moments. The way Dr. Kureha reacted when Chopper said he was going to leave really hurt my heart. It was really hard to watch, but I totally understood it, and in a way I was expecting a reaction like that. I'm really happy that Chopper ended up going, of course, but I am a little sad that the townspeople never had the opportunity to apologize to him, because I feel like he really deserved that. The soundtrack during this episode was amazing, and so is Chopper's voice acting. And this is a really beautiful image of Dr. Kureha, and when she said, "Now go, my foolish son," I really got goosebumps while editing. Episode 91, "Farewell Drum Island, I'm going out to sea." These were just really, this was a really sweet image of these two together. You rarely see them getting along, and I don't think really they were getting along here. They were just laughing at the same thing, but still really nice to see. And then there's this picture of that guy that we've seen before. In the reaction, it's pretty clear that I did not remember this person's face at all. Someone ended up pointing it out to me on Discord, and I was kind of disappointed that they did not let me figure it out later for myself. This was my message to them when they asked what I would have preferred in terms of pointing things out that are technically a spoiler. That are not technically a spoiler, sorry. So this is what I said to them. It's pretty obvious considering the face tattoos. Looking back now, I should have made the connection myself while watching episode 91, but I missed it because I forgot about the character's name and face, since he appeared quite a while ago, like when they met Smoker, and there was so much happening. Like he was such a small part of that episode. I totally forgot about it. So I feel like it would have been better to not tell me if you think to yourself, "Oh, she didn't realize it was the same character. I wonder when she'll make the connection and how she'll react when she finds out that it's the same character." So I would prefer, don't tell me, don't make those connections for me, even if it's not a spoiler because it's obvious, but it happens so far apart, I didn't even make the connection, so I can find out for myself in a reaction, and then you get to see my reaction when I find out, and then everyone can see it. Even though it can't be considered a spoiler, since all you have to do is link the information from back then to the information you get in this episode, I would prefer people not telling me stuff like this because I want to see if I can make the connections myself, which I clearly didn't do in this episode. I'm just a little sad that I'll never get to see my own reaction to the moment that I do realize they were the same person. Yes, I actually do sometimes laugh at my own reactions and stuff while editing. Nothing I can do about it now though. It's just for future reference. Rather wait for me to make those connections. Thank you so much. P.S. I just want to say I'm not mad at that person or anything because they didn't spoil on purpose, and it doesn't spoil the plot or anything. It only means that no one gets to see my reaction once I figure this out for myself. I'm just making clear what kind of things I don't want to be told. Okay, and this is little Vivi. She's so precious. It makes me think about how well she must have been raised to be a princess and the leader of a country compared to Wapol. Like, that whole scene and how she handled it make me think like, damn, she was raised really well. What the fuck? Who raised Wapol? Why did he turn out to be the kind of leader that he is? And I'm wondering if this will ever be revealed. If so, don't tell me. Okay, so this is that Ace guy, and he was looking for Blackbeard. He asked about Blackbeard, and then he asked about Luffy, or told them to give a message to him. Why? And then I gave myself a little note / reminder. Blackbeard was the guy that pillaged Drum Island and ended up causing Wapol to flee the country. So I know who Blackbeard is, or what he did at least then. And I know this guy Ace was looking for him. I know that Ace was looking for Blackbeard. Why was he looking for both of them? What is the connection there? After hearing this whole story, Dr. Kureha asks Dalton, "Do you know of Gold D. Roger?" Why did she ask in that moment? because now this story was told by that person that brought the flyer or wanted poster, and then she asked this. So why did that story make her think of Gol D. Roger? Or was it because of the Luffy poster, because Monkey D. Luffy? Why did she ask though? Because, so then how does all of this connect? How are all these characters connected? Blackbeard, Luffy, Ace, Gol D. Roger. I want to know more. Don't tell me, obviously. Let me find out in the anime. She also said, Kureha also said, so it still lives, the will of D. Inherited will. Where is this inherited will? Hiluluk also talked about, as long as, because remember when he talked to Dalton, he said as long as the will is inherited, or some, I don't know, lots of connections that my brain is going like that. Rahul on Patreon commented, Roger died 22 years ago in the anime, in the time of the anime. You forgot about that. Luffy is 17, so ... because these were all facts that I already was aware of. I just forgot the exact number of years. I think I said 40 years, but it's 22. And so, yeah, I just rambled on a bit in a reply and tried to figure out like exactly if Roger died 22 years ago and Luffy is 17 now, 17, 18, 19, 21, wait, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So Gol D. Roger died 5 years before Luffy was born. Don't know what it means. I don't know. This was a really beautiful visual. And then there's just a few comments from Patreon, just two. This one's from Chris Mitchell, where he lists his favorite Straw Hat. So I'd love if and he includes Chopper as number 6. Won't say much since you barely met him. He can be a goof, and that is my favorite part about him. So if you're gonna go read these two comments, please check the notes out, or just pause here and then pause here. If you want to take a moment to list your favorite Straw Hats in order and give like a short, no spoiler reason, like he says Sanji, fighting style, funny and smart. He says that. I would love for you to do that. I will wait a bit until I get to know Chopper some more. Then I'll include him in the Straw Hats list, my list of favorite Straw Hats and why. And I'll probably end up including Vivi in that list too, because she got her own music card thingy. Excuse me. So yeah, I think I will include her, even though eventually it will probably change, because at some point she's not going to be part of the crew anymore. I know that, I'm aware of that. So then I will keep walking that journey with the other characters, and then she'll end up probably like if I love them more and more and I never see her again, then, you know, maybe they'll keep going up the list and then she'll drop because I never get to see her. But I mean, I don't know, but I probably will include her in the list. What do you guys think? Should I rather just leave her in supporting? She's currently my #1 favorite supporting character. But yeah. Okay, so that's it from my side. I'm sorry for I don't want to say sorry for the long video, because no one is forced to listen to it. So thank you for those that have listened up to now and that do care about my thoughts. I know that I have a lot to learn about One Piece, about people, about life, and that's why I watch anime, because it teaches me about people and about life, and I get to talk to you guys, and together if we talk and have good constructive discussions, we all learn and grow together, and that to me is very important, and it's my favorite part about watching anime together. Okay, so thank you once again so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!